Hey guys, Altcoin Sherpa here with a market review. As always, this is not financial advice. Trading is risky. Do your own research. I'm not a professional. If you lose, it's on you. Today, I'm going to be reviewing several coins that I requested on Twitter. Let's just get started, I guess. We'll go with Bitcoin USD, and obvious resistance is the all-time high area around 20K. High time frame, you can't call this bearish at all. This is still a highly bullish chart. That said, I don't know if max pain for much of the market is going to be higher, around 25,000, or if it's going to have a big brutal retrace. Overall, I'm still very high time frame bullish, though. I think that it's very, very likely that this breaks all-time high eventually. I don't know when that will be. If we're looking at pullback levels, there are several areas, in my opinion, that are interesting to me. 16,000 is a former weekly close back in early 2018. If we use the fib on high time frame charts and 20,000 is the top, then you can see that 16,000 here is right near the 382 fib. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of price action near the 0.5 fib around 15K, but oftentimes there's a lot of micro levels that are very important that you just don't see on high time frame charts. So it's very possible that, this could bounce anywhere around 15K, but even if price went to $14,000, this is still a very bullish structure in my opinion. It would basically just be forming a higher low, because the last low, in my opinion, was really just this kind of area around 10K. So personally, I don't quite know where Bitcoin is going to go in the short term. I do believe that 20K is going to get broken eventually. I just don't know when that will be. It's very possible that Bitcoin stalls out here and goes lower. I'm preparing for both scenarios in general. Obviously, if this does break 20K, I think this is just people are going to FOMO and just go, and this will probably go all the way up to like something crazy, like $25,000 or something like that. But yeah, I'm still high time frame bullish on Bitcoin, but I don't really know where this is going to go on lower time frames in general. So I will say that I am waiting for a big break in either direction for a big altcoin pump, because that's what I am looking for as a trigger for any altcoin season or alt pumps, whatever you want to call it. As of right now, as you can see, the market, altcoins right now it's very unstable price action, and everyone's basically very scared for altcoins, just because if Bitcoin does break higher strongly, then alt BTC pairs are just basically going to get slaughtered. And alt USD pairs should do okay, I would think, at least maintain their value, but alt BTC pairs are going to die. And I am expecting some sort of big shakeout if Bitcoin violently goes in either direction, but we'll see. I don't know which direction it's going to go in, and I'm prepared for both scenarios. ETHUSD, I believe, should follow. I'm sorry, ETHUSD. Yeah, ETHUSD should follow Bitcoin for the most part. I think that this one is going to be very bullish, though, in December. Not necessarily bullish regardless of what Bitcoin does, because if Bitcoin were to go to 14,000, I'm not sure if this one will necessarily decouple and just pump regardless of Bitcoin dumping. But if you look at the past several Decembers, and I've gone through this chart several times before, but basically Ethereum starts its big run in December. for the winter. As you can see here in 2018, you saw Ethereum went 100% over the month. Over this several month period, Ethereum went 145%. And it really would not surprise me if Ethereum went past $1,000 here. I was fairly confident that Ethereum would hit at least $800 in the short term, and that's really only 30% from this current area. So the bottom line is that I think that Ethereum is going to be bullish in the coming weeks, and if Bitcoin were to dump very hard, it wouldn't surprise me to see something like another test of the $450 range. But as of right now, I'm still very bullish on ETH. My plan is just to keep dollar cost averaging in to this one. It's still one of my biggest spot bags. So LTC USD, this is a very significant level because this was the high before the COVID crash in March. And unlike other altcoins, LTC didn't recover nearly as well relatively. You saw many other altcoins, the strong ones, basically just start grinding up, and just kept going higher. But LTC finally hit this supply zone, the significant area, the last up candle before a big break market structure, and price is still kind of hanging around here. So I believe that with price still hanging around, this is actually a fairly bullish price action right now. We saw a violent reaction here initially when it first tapped this area, but it went from $90 all the way down to $70, but it quickly rebounded, and now it's basically kind of just having this ranging price action. And I think that with price hanging around here, it looks pretty good because there's still going to be a lot of sellers in this current area here, as you can see with the price action. If you looked at volume profile too, I wouldn't be surprised. You can see this current area. There's just a lot of activity here. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see price just continue to grind up and chew through this liquidity. And there's going to be some bumps along the road. There might be some drops here and there, but I ultimately think that price is going to fill out this inefficient move right here eventually. And what do I mean by inefficient move? I mean these steep drops or steep bullish moves too. Big up candles or big down candles where there's a very big imbalance between buyers and sellers. And you can find that these inefficient moves generally get filled out eventually. But that's a topic for another time. I am bullish on LTC eventually. I think it still could take a little longer though. XRP, the standard. This is not looking so standardish right now because you can see a massive amount of sell volume right now. And price is just slowly bleeding down from the 80-cent mark all the way down to, in my opinion, I'm targeting this 40-cent area. And it's still looking fine to me. You can fib it out. Here, we can just... This looks okay. Maybe a little higher. Fibbing is very subjective, obviously, as anyone that is fibbed knows this. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see this go here. And at a minimum, I think it's testing 47, but that's, There's going to be a fair amount of support right here, though. So if I were looking to buy XRP, I would just basically look to... And it depends on what you're doing, of course. Like, everybody trades differently. If you're looking to swing trade, I would just look to buy anywhere from this area, from 47 to 40. And I would just dollar cost average in. I mean, it is a 15% gap between the two of them. So you have to be okay with just being able to be underwater for a little bit. But I think that 40 cents is not a bad area for entry, in my opinion. But if you look on high time frame charts for Ripple, I mean, this still looks okay because this had a huge amount of buy volume here, and that looks pretty good in my opinion. And this was arguably accumulation here with tons of buy volume and price relatively not moving. But again, this is price retracing, and if you fib out the entire, this was the weekly fib here. This was a weekly fib, by the way. This was starting from the weekly candle here, and you'll get a different result. But so 0.6818 might be near 45 cents. Again, fibs are very subjective. You'll have to decide what works for you and your system. And there is no perfect way to fib, in my opinion. If you do it enough, then you'll be able to find certain levels. But I'm still basically going to be targeting this area, kind of like this 40 cent region, because I'm focusing on the wicks here, and I think there's going to be still some buyers in that demand zone. YFI, I'm still bullish on this, but again, I wrote before that it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this go to the 20K area. I mean, right now it's kind of forming this like mini head and shoulders here. And you can probably see that more on lower time frame charts. But yeah, I think this is going to go to 21K. I think you can get an entry there for sure, and possibly lower at 18K and 15K. I think those are all potential entry areas, and I'm sure if you fib this out, there's going to be some interesting levels. Yeah, so 19K here, and 17K. You know, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see these levels here. As you can already see, I use several different ways to interpret price action. I use, fibs. I'll just use horizontals. I use EMAs as well. It just depends. Usually, the best traders I know use a lot of different things for confluence on certain levels. And I recommend that you try to learn different techniques for finding the confluence on certain levels, because usually it's going to help you validate or invalidate some of your levels that you draw. EGLD, this was extremely bullish. I bought this one at around this breakout from 1450 or something like that, and I sold around in the 16s, I think. Right. Actually, I think I sold right. Yeah, maybe 16. I don't remember. I hit a trailing stop, unfortunately. I wish I would have just had stayed in it. You can fib out this entire thing right here, price action, just using the bodies. I'm sorry, not just the body. If you fib out the entire thing, you'll get some levels for sure. Whether or not that's going to be the best way, I mean, it's debatable. This is still incredibly bullish in general. You can't, like, the amount of volume is just still piling in. It's just really bullish. It is hitting a significant resistance area though, around $20. So it wouldn't surprise me to see this go lower to 17. There's quite a bit of support here, in my opinion. And then just continue higher. But I'm looking to buy a dip on this one. I think it's a good buy. RSR, this one is very hyped. and I thought this one might go a little lower, but for now support is holding very well around 0.017. And yeah, this is like, I'm pretty neutral on this for right now. In the short term, it looks just fine. It doesn't look good or bad. If you use fibs, well, let's clean it up a little bit. If you use fibs, this is usually probably this looks okay. If you're looking to buy RSR, I would definitely personally target a little lower. I would target something like 16 or something, or 0.016. I'm sorry. And I am going to be very bullish on this one in the coming weeks and months, because it seems like everybody has an RSR bag. But for now, it looks like this is going to head a little lower. DOT, again, I'm very bullish on in the coming weeks and months. I think that a lot of DOT projects are going to do very well. You kind of see this rounded bottom here. And you could maybe say this is like a cup and handle type of price action, but I'm not a huge fan of this type of handle. This could have just been a deviation. I think that this still looks pretty good in general, but if you're in this trade, don't expect it to move very fast, and it's quite possible that this hits $4 too. That's entirely possible. That just makes a full retrace all the way back down. And if that happens, then I would be looking more at this pattern. Maybe like a double bottom. And yeah. Or I could also look at this as a maybe like an Eve atom or something like that, where it's a rounded bottom and then this just hits a V-shaped reversal like this. So if you want to look up patterns, Adam Eve is like the steep drop and then like a rounded bottom, and then an Eve Adam would be Eve rounded Adam V and go up like that. That's kind of what I'm expecting for DOT though. I think this is still going to keep going lower. VIDT, I have no idea what this coin is. It looks pretty good on right now. It has to break this 4,000 sats area. My guess is that it just keeps ranging and then eventually breaks higher. There's not much to say about this. It looks pretty good. LTO BTC, again, have no idea what this is. You'll find that this is a good example of key swing lows having important or maintaining important levels right here. Like, look at all this price action from February, and then it does this big run, and then it comes back to this level eventually. That's why it's always good to just remain patient, and that's something I struggle with myself, in that price will almost always come back to certain levels. You just have to wait. And obviously, if you just wanted to wait, then, you know, this still went to almost 200% from that area. But anyways, it looks, again, like price is going to at least head near that level again, near 500 Satoshis for LTO. I think it's pretty likely that it hits this 515 area, and it's possible that it goes all the way down to 415. You can kind of see too, this is kind of an example of that Adam, Eve, Adam type of thing. You have this kind of rounded bottom type of price action followed by a V-shaped reversal, and now price is coming back down. So, but this isn't really a full reversal in my opinion. This is just, I mean, it's not very much price action in general, but it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this head back down. Link, everybody's favorite coin. I am bullish on this in the coming weeks and months, but this just looks totally neutral to me. It just looks like a kind of rounded bottom. It's just not bottom. It's just this slow grind. Basically, so this is a good example too of, remember when I talked about the price, the inefficient move. This right here, this move from $16 all the way down to $9. This was an inefficient move, and price just basically slowly grinded all the way through it, and then it hit the supply zone, and now it's back down. So personally, what I would like to see is, I would just like to see Link kind of just keep hanging around and fill out this area here, and then I think that this will eventually go higher. I still think that this is going to go to $20. I feel pretty good about that, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just think that Link is still, one of the most bullish coins in crypto since its inception. So, yeah. KSM. I think this looks like a really good chart. Tested the 0.5 fib, and price is rebounding. And again, fibs are subjective, so maybe you go a little higher, and now you say it bounced off the 0.618 fib. So usually, I mean, there's a lot of small little tricks you can do with fibs. Personally, I don't like using the top wick for this instance myself. I like to scale down to lower time frames to find my levels, but the fib is still my best setup. This still looks really good though. I mean, you can see sellers all throughout this area here. Seller again. It chewed right through that liquidity, and now it's kind of there again. This looks good. Yeah, I mean, nothing to really say about this. If it comes, then this $37 area might be pretty interesting buy. KAVA, I think this is going to be very good in the coming weeks and months as well. But this kind of reminds me of Band. It's just basically sitting here. I don't expect it to really move either direction for a little while. Just a big consolidating range. It's just hanging around the EMAs. You do your other EMAs, then you're basically going to want to see all these EMAs basically start to coil up and compress, and then that's when you know that a big break is probably going to come. So, yep, still think this will be fine, but might take a little longer. Here's SUSHI USD. I think this is pretty good in general, but I always felt there were a lot of price action up here, not as much as below, of course, but I feel that there's still going to be some sellers all throughout this area. So I'm basically just going to wait for a break of $3.20. I mean, the problem with taking a trade like this on entering is that it's very unclear where your levels are based on this type of price action here. Like, what do you use as a target here? I mean, invalidation is pretty easy in my opinion. It's just below here. But how do you, I mean, maybe you just set a target like this, like this. You can even have a loose stop here if you want. Maybe this is what your stop, this is what your trade is a 2-to-1. Maybe it's just this. But the problem is that I expect there to be a fair amount of price action throughout this area, and I think that price will just keep grinding through it. So I don't know. I mean, it still looks. I still expect this to actually be very bullish. I think that this move here is going to get filled out, but it just might take some time. Comp still looks good. I was waiting for the $130 area, but it never came. And in the short term, it's kind of iffy because there's a lot of sell volume kind of coming in heavy. And it wouldn't surprise me still to see $130 tapped. But that's likely going to mean that altcoins in general are going to suffer as a market-wide thing. So it's kind of hard to say. High time frame, it still looks okay. I mean, it's forming this kind of reversal here. Almost a V-shaped reversal. But is this going to be like a full reversal? I'm not exactly sure. I mean, there is like a heavy amount of buy volume to accompany it, which is great to see. But we'll see on comp. I'm still neutral in the short term. I mean, it looks decent, but I'm still kind of waiting on it. Theta BTC, this one was awesome because it basically had its own market cycle, like its own market cycle. I mean, I remember it went insane back in the early summer of 2020, and then futures got introduced and it basically got shorted. And this is a good example of a accumulation bottom where price just range. And this is the same type of price action that I'm looking right now on Band and KAVA and stuff like that, where price just hangs around and then it'll basically accumulate for its next big run. And you can see that too, this other price action here. So Theta looks pretty good to me. I mean, I'm just using these fibs just on the daily. I'm not sure if this is going to full reverse. A break of this would make me think that 4,600 is going to get tapped, but this also could just still keep hanging around like this. It's hard to say. Uni looks pretty okay for right now, but it wouldn't surprise me to see this go a little lower. Swing High actually respects these levels pretty well. When you're drawing your fibs, you can use the wick or the body, but it really depends on what levels are being respected. That's the most important thing in my opinion. You want these to look like SR levels, basically. You can't just fib the top and fib the bottom and just say that's great, because you have to see where the levels are respected. Fibs are only important when they're actionable, and you want to make sure that you find good levels. For Uni, it might be possible where we might see this level tapped. It was the swing low from before. This looks bearish in the short term, but SXP, this is like the only chart that really will say anything. It's just ranging and accumulating. I think it's not doing anything. It's just, wouldn't be surprised to see another test of the lows at 71 cents. So this is not doing anything, and yeah, if you buy this here, don't expect it to move very much in the short term. Ocean, this was a highly bullish one in terms of the fundamentals and how many people like this coin, but I mean, it looks like another test of the lows is coming around 33 cents. There's just like a lot of activity down there. 32 cents might be it if you look at the volume profile right here. Or 31. RUNE looks good. This is one that I've been thinking about buying for a long time now. I did some FA research on it yesterday. And I have a lot of friends that are in this too, so I think this is maybe one that I might just buy a long-term bag in. We'll see. And for right now, it looks just kind of okay. Potential like head and shoulders pattern maybe playing out. And like maybe you see something like this. I'd like to look at this lower. And maybe I can just wait until this one taps. Maybe this one I'll just wait until this one taps lower. If I can get it, maybe I'll look at 63 cents or something. Okay, so those are all the coins for today. I thank you guys for submitting those coins, and hopefully you guys got something from this video. Please like and subscribe if you like this content. Thank you.